And I think it has started. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Emanuel. I'm an SEO and digital marketing consultant from Toronto and founder of How About Some Marketing, which is a hub uh, that wants to help business owners as well as digital marketers become better at their marketing game. Officially, we help small and medium-sized businesses become big businesses through education, coaching, and mindset reframing. Effective marketing insights, as you'll see today, that you can apply directly to your business for real results. Now, I wouldn't be much of a marketer if I wouldn't ask you to go to howaboutsmarketing.com and subscribe to the newsletter if you aren't a subscriber just yet. That being said, it's an amazing honor and a pleasure to have three distinguished guests in today's session. And the topic we all know, we've been talking about it for the past close to 2 years now, artificial intelligence, and how does this impact SEO and digital marketing. And as most likely the conversation will go there, it will expand beyond SEO, it will expand beyond digital marketing, and we already know that SEO, that AI has an impact on our daily activities. I'll start by introducing some of our guests, but actually, I'm gonna let everyone introduce themselves real quick. So we'll start with Joachim.
Thanks, Emanuel. Thanks for having me, and pleasure to be there. Joachim Koch, founder of Aspiration Marketing. We're a growth marketing agency headquartered in the US, but have resources in Canada and in Europe. And we are providing growth marketing services, inbound marketing, content marketing, supported by SEO and PC. We do web design, and we're also a HubSpot partner. So anybody with interest in this area, go visit us, aspiration.marketing. And I'm looking forward to the dialogue.
I highly recommend there's links to connect with each and every one of our guests, so please do so. Kevin from Arkansas, would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Kevin Carney. I'm Kevin Carney, and I started a company, Organic Growth, and we've developed a SaaS platform to help writers boost their topical authority. I'm actually going to post a link to a landing page in the chat, and in a little bit I'll post the link to my the URL of my LinkedIn profile. And as we all know now from the Google document dump, that SEO, topical authority, domain authority, et cetera, it really still boils down to quality content and quality links. Obtaining quality links is not as easy as obtaining links. So our focus is on the writer. Authority flows to websites and brands through their writers. So we've built a tool to help writers boost their topical authority, their personal brand, if you will.
Excellent. And both Kevin and Joachim have previously been guests to our webinar, and you might guess where you will find those recordings at howaboutsmarketing.com. Now, we're going to dive into today's topic right away, artificial intelligence in SEO and digital marketing. I was researching for today's show and was watching some other podcasts and episodes with the likes of Bill Gates and other thought leaders, including Seth Godin. And Seth made a very interesting remark. The invention of AI is as impactful as electricity was. So before diving to our agenda, I'd like to know, Joachim, what do you think about this statement? What are your comments on the invention of AI is as impactful as electricity?
I think it actually covers only half of what AI is capable of, because electricity had a very big impact, but personally I think AI is both a threat to jobs in our industry, but it's also a great opportunity. I personally would think the AI impact is much bigger than just electricity.
We are actually discussing about a statement that Seth Godin made, that the impact of AI will be as impactful as electricity was. Now, I mean, introduce yourself a little bit, and also let me know your thoughts on this statement.
Okay, sure. So to introduce myself, I'm Amin from Toronto with almost a decade of experience in the field of SEO with a huge passion around data visualization, technical SEO, and building custom tools with Python and JavaScript. Recently built a couple of Chrome extensions around AI overviews and SEO that we can discuss them quickly during the call, sorry. But to talk about what Seth Godin had said, I think, so the impact that AI has is similar to what electricity has. I think maybe we know Seth Godin, he's about the marketing. So I can say he's maybe trying to show the impact. So I believe it's not as impactful as invention of electricity, but it's a really big thing that will change our life definitely. But this scope will not be definitely as huge as electricity and how it changed our lives. And I guess Emanuel, you're on mute. Oh yeah.
I am on mute again. The AI is playing tricks. It must detect that Bill Gates was actually saying that AI is undersold, not oversold. So, Kevin, curious to know your thoughts on Seth Godin's statement. AI is as impactful as electricity was.
Well, I have two broad. One is on the concept or a parallel to electricity, and the other is what I personally perceive to be the future potential of AI. So it's important to realize that electricity was invented pretty early in the 19th century and didn't change everything until early in the 20th century. So there was about 100-year delay before electricity changed everybody's life. And can I tell a little anecdote? I may run over my allotted time, but I think it's an interesting anecdote relative to the topic. So
Please.
Before there was electricity, there were no movies, there was no television, there was no radio because there was no electricity. So people in Victorian England used to spend money to go to lectures and watch people give demonstrations of things, and they would have a Q&A. So Michael Faraday is the guy who figured out the electricity stuff, and he used to put on these performances. And very famously, in 1830, 1840 timeframe, some lady stood up at the Q&A and said, well, that's all very interesting, but does it have any practical applications? To which he honestly answered, no, because at that time it didn't, right? So I really think that the big value of AI is something that we haven't even thought of yet. We don't know what it is, and it's not next week or next month or even next year. It's going to come down the road. And in my mind, I kind of equate AI not to electricity, but to the printing press. AI is requiring us to learn skills, which I believe in the future are going to be foundational. Now, I equate it to the printing press because once everybody learned to read, reading allowed everybody to learn a whole bunch of other stuff. And that kickstarted the entire age of enlightenment, era of exploration, the whole bit, right? So I do think that there is a long-term benefits of AI that none of us can imagine. I think that the short-term benefits of AI are relatively limited. And I think the current hype around AI is just blindingly off the charts.
Excellent answer. You didn't have time for a short one, as another person from the 1800 used to say, I believe. That being said, how has the SEO game changed for the past 2 years in the era of AI, and more specifically to the so-called generative AI, which we all know we have seen some of the results. And by the way, I'll make a note here. Google, for the past year and a half or so, has mirrored 90% of what Brave, the search engine, did. First, with the results with featuring Reddit in the results, and second, with the generative AI answer. So if you want to see how this might look like, try search.brave.com. That being said, Joachim, how has the AI impacted the SEO game?
Yeah. So ultimately, the fundamental components of SEO, I don't think have changed at all. It is the old objective, unchanged. We want to be found. We want to be found as high as possible, and that's what we're trying to optimize for. How do we do that? Kevin has already mentioned that a number of times. We do that by providing good input that answers the questions of those who search. Ultimately, what a search engine is all about. What AI has helped and will continue to significantly help is to better understand what people are looking for, to help optimize tactics, how to get there, to connect the dots much easier than was able before. But those are tactical efficiency games. Ultimately, from my perspective, the fundamental values of SEO have not changed and won't change. We still need good content. We're seeing that from our content. As referral traffic, we get traffic from Perplxity AI. Why do we get that? Well, because we're showing up in results pushed or used by people who use Perplxity AI. I had similar comments from people, oh, you're showing up on Chat GPT when we're looking for this or that all the time, right? AI is the brain, is the processor, but that processor needs to process something, and that's the information that we ultimately need to promote to get our services, our products in front of it.
Excellent answer. And for those who don't follow Joachim, and I suggest you do, Joachim has produced an amazing number of content, great content in multiple languages for the past year or so, and I'm a big fan. Amin, your thoughts?
When I think about this question, I think about four stakeholders in the realm of SEO. So it can be how AI is impacting search engines, how AI is impacting users and their behaviors, how it's impacting us as SEOs, how it's impacting our work, and finally, how it impacts the tools that we are using, tools like SEMrush, BrightEdge, anything that we are using. And I think everything is, changing, but the main thing that will remain the same is the search behavior. I think from the first day that humans, we were on the earth, this search was a behavior that was inside us. So it's not like that AI is here and the search will go away and people will not search. So how it changed users, I think if I consider myself as a user, my expectations from a search engine are a little bit different now. So I don't want to see a list of results and then scroll through the results, click on one of them, maybe it's answering me. As a user, I want a definite answer. I want a explanation, and that's how Chat GPT, Cloud, these tools are building my expectation as a user. And when it comes to search engines, I'm seeing, we're talking about Perplexity or Bing, Copilot, other tools. They are seeing this change in appetite of the user, and they are all trying to adapt themselves with what the user is expecting. And then as SEOs, what I'm seeing is that AI, especially generative AI and LLMs like Claude and Chat GPT, Perplexity, they are giving us, some flexibility, making us learn faster, making us do our work faster. So that's a great thing that we are seeing here. And in terms of the tools that are being developed, like SEMrush, BrightEdge, Spotify, anything that is on the market, I think it also lets those developers build smarter tools that let us as SEOs to monitor the quality of search, monitor the quality of our work. So overall, I think the the appetite of user and the abilities of us as SEOs and also developers of the tools is getting better and better, and we'll be seeing a better optimized search experience for users, and also our work as SEOs will be definitely better and better. So I'm seeing it a very positive. I'm optimistic about the situation overall.
Excellent answer. I'll do the same. And a small note, people saying that AI is here to help us I'm not sure about everyone here present, but since AI, I've been working more, not less. Now, Kevin, what are your thoughts? How has the SEO game changed in the era of AI and generative AI?
Well, primarily, in addition to what Joachim and Amin said, I think there's two things worth commenting on. One is that when you use an AI engine like Perplexity, there are fewer search results displayed on a page. So Perplexity gives 5 sources for its answers. Google gave 10 on page 1, 10 on page 2, 10 on page 3. So there's less search real estate, if you will, available. So we're all competing for a smaller number of slots. So I think that's one change that the industry is still trying to figure out, like, what it really means. And then the other one is that we perhaps are going through, but definitely have gone through, a period of what I call AI churn, where Google is like suggesting you add glue to your spaghetti sauce. And if you're feeling depressed, consider jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. And I think, based on just monitoring people who I think know a lot more about this than I do, that happened when OpenAI incorporated the Reddit forums into the large language model. And this is just pure speculation on my part, but I think the thought was large language models are good, therefore larger language models are better. So they put as much data as they could into the language model, kind of ran out of data and said, well, the Reddit forum looks good, let's throw that in there as well. And there was no consideration given that the AI engine cannot detect sarcasm or context, right? So it doesn't know that glue and spaghetti sauce or jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge were sarcastic comments. It has no context for knowing that. So it just presented them as valid answers. And now Google is like scrambling, how do we fix this, yada, yada, yada. So we're in this period of churn, but I do think this period of churn will get ironed out, and we're going to get to a much more even keel where the answers are more reliable, dependable, and trustable. And then we'll be in a better position to figure out what the new rules really are.
Quick 20-second answer for a question. For those who don't know, what is Perplexity? We mentioned Perplexity a couple of times, Claude and everyone. Who wants to answer this question? Raise your hand.
I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
Perplexity is just an AI engine. You bring it up, it's like Chat GPT. You give it a prompt, which can be, 5 words or, 800 words. Tell it what you want. And then it, the way it's been explained to me, now obviously I don't have access to the source code and blah, 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 right? But the way it was explained to me is that Perplexity takes your prompt, does a search, finds a number of top results, feeds those web pages into its summarization engine, and generates a summary with citations. And of course, like everybody else, when Chat GPT came out, I used it because it was there. And then someone said, check out Perplexity. And I used it once, and I haven't used Chat GPT since. The reason I use Perplexity is because it shows its work. If it gives a really silly answer, I can click the citation and go back to the web page where that answer came from, and I can see if it's reasonable or not. So Perplexity is my personal go-to AI engine, primarily because it shows its work.
This was actually an answer to one of the other questions I had for today, so might as well continue on that one. Artificial intelligence tools is not just Chat GPT. For example, Meta has incorporated recently an AI component in WhatsApp, which made it accessible essentially to about 3 billion people right away. And it's amazing. I'm not sure about usage. I'm not using it as much, but it's very capable. What are your thoughts on that? AI beyond Chat GPT? Joachim.
We've used Chat GPT at the beginning and switched, and I'm telling you in a second what we switched to, and never gone back. What we switched to is Gemini for a very simple reason. Gemini is made by Google, and it sits on the biggest search results, the biggest data source that there is on the planet. Why would I go somewhere else? Google has some of the largest staff, the biggest resources financially and otherwise. They will, over time, have to produce some of the best results. Again, one from a pure processing perspective, from a processor perspective, but more than anything, ultimately that processor needs to process data. And who has the biggest and the most source of data? Google does.
Excellent, excellent. By the way, just a reminder for anyone who's participating live, we have the chat and Q&A boxes at the bottom. Feel free to input your question if you have any for any of our guests or for all of them, and we try to tackle them. Amin.
Okay, when I think about the question that what is AI beyond ChatGPT, lots of things comes to my mind, but I want to narrow it down to perspective of an SEO and from the search perspective. So when ChatGPT arrived to the market, we were all waiting for the day that it can browse the web and search for us, and then we thought that okay, some people were thinking it will disrupt the search, but we were seeing even this tool itself started to search, and when it started to search, we were saying yeah. It is more capable now. And thinking about Meta AI, if you ask it a question, it will either go to Bing or Google to search and bring you some of the results, and will link back to some of those results as well. And even TikTok, I don't know if you are a TikTok user. Our age is like not a TikTok user, but I like to try everything. So even they were trying to show people AI generated highlights of, based on some of the search queries that they were using. So I'm currently other players in the market like Cloud, which I really enjoy working with it, especially because of the artifact that it lets you create. So it's really great. But this, for example, Cloud, I think when it cannot search and give me the most updated data, I feel this is a problem that it has. So while we have different big players in the market, I think the one that are searching and using the capability of search engines to make themselves better. So as we said, Meta is using Google and Bing, and ChatGPT is using Bing. So this is something more valuable for the users, I think. So even with AI tools, search is still alive, living there, and it's getting more and more important. If you don't see that resource and the link that Kevin was talking about, you might not really rely on that LLM's answer. So search is alive, and with LLMs, it might go even higher and higher.
So we got Gemini, we got Claude, we got Perplexity. If I'm not mistaken, correct me, Perplexity has the option to use other LLMs, right? OpenAIs and some others. Is that correct, or I'm making some confusions here?
I think that's a question for Kevin. He's the real user of Perplexity every day. So.
But before that, let's move on to the next question. Okay, ChatGPT, Claude, I'm a business owner, or I'm a digital marketer within an agency, or I'm a simple, let's say, accountant or anything else. How do I actually use AI? How do people use AI? And before I'll pass along the microphone, I'm going to just make a note that somebody said, I believe Andy Kestodina, which is another famous digital marketer, said that people, expect to type a few sentences in a box and have the job done. So the question is, how do actually people use AI? I'm not talking right now just on about digital marketing and SEO. Joachim.
The first suggestion is, and we can go into some very specific tactical things for SEO, for all the other things, but the first thing I think we should all get used to, and it yields amazing results, ask the goddamn thing. If you have a question how to use AI, well, ask AI. If you have a question, how should I use AI to structure my project? Go ask it. Right? So the highly unusual approach for many of us is we're thinking of, well, we need to ask to get the right answers, but you can actually ask it what to ask to get the right answers. So, I mean, that's in many areas a new approach where we've ask things like, how do I structure this project? How do I structure a design process? How do I structure certain things you think, I can't ask that. The thing is stupid. Well, it might still be, but it'll probably give you some very interesting answers that might not be 100% of your solution, but get you on the right track. How do you use AI? I would say just give it a problem as opposed to just delegate a set of activities. Delegate, solve this problem for me.
And on that note, I'll also say that I realized this when I actually had a conversation with him in my native language, which is Romanian. So that's the moment I realized it's beyond just a set of instructions. It's more than that. Amin.
Okay, so again, I'm seeing this question from different perspectives. First is that people are using AI every day. They've been using it. If you're searching something on Google, it's suggesting you something. If you're on Instacart, Walmart, it's suggesting something. You are already using AI. All of those recommendations on YouTube are part of the AI's work. But to be more specific about maybe generative AI, how we can use it, again, we have LLMs, which are large language models, which can give you text output or even draw some charts for you. We have also image generative AI tools such as Midjourney that can solve a problem for you, or other video generating tools such as Runway, Leonardo, all of those stuff that are there. So based on the need that you have, I see you can use that. But I prefer to mainly focus again on tools like Claude and Chat GPT. And when we are looking at it, at day-to-day things that users are doing, even the most simple thing that I really did once was that I took a picture of a bunch of watermelons. I asked Chat GPT, which one do you think is better? It gave me the hints that these are the things that you should look when you're buying a watermelon, and I could choose the best one. And honestly, you can use it in your day-to-day things. But if you are a business owner, or if you're a digital marketer, you can use tools like, for example, Cloud or ChatGPT to visualize data, to visualize, change the way that you are reporting to your clients, or to your reporting to somebody else. Or if you're a business owner, you don't know how to visualize something, give it the data, tell it, visualize it for me. I will understand it better. So it's like you have a junior data analyst at your hand, and you can, just ask them what they can do. But don't ask it, beyond the capabilities, because in some cases, if you're not expert in the field, with the hallucinations that LLMs might have, it might, kind of misguide you. That's the downside of the story that we will have. So ask it for, if you're not an expert in the field, ask it for the simple things that you can, kind of verify and say, yeah, this is correct. But if it's beyond your knowledge, I would say still we need to rely on the experts to verify the quality of the answer and then take the next steps from there.
Before passing along to Kevin, since Amin was the last one who spoke, I take this opportunity to share my screen and promote the next month's event, which will happen on August 29, last Thursday of each month. And the title is SEO Tool Showcase, Innovative Solution for Digital Marketers, where we'll have a special guest, Amin Furatan. So since I have, and I'll be dropping the link for you to register right here. But Amin, since we already have you here, stop sharing. You might just in 15 seconds tell us a brief description of what should we expect during the next webinar.
Sure. In the intro, I told you that one of my passions is data visualization. Another one is building custom tools. So on that webinar, I will introducing you, I think, 6 to 8 tools that I've built. Some of them are a Streamlit web app. Some of them are Chrome extensions, and even as simple as a Google Sheet that can help you as digital marketers to promote your work, improve your work, the quality of the work that you are doing with spending less time, but having a better efficiency and quality of work.
So again, August 29, I've dropped the link here in the chat box. Please subscribe, register, and we'll actually see some of the tools Amin created at work and how they can help us. Now, back to Kevin. And the question was, how do people actually use AI?
I think Amin's answer just nailed it. I mean, there's two broad categories in which I see people using AI. I'm going to call the one research, and that's how I use it. And the other one is data visualization. And the I don't know, the beauty, the plus side of the whole data visualization thing is you don't really have to have a really good understanding of how you want the data to be displayed and visualized, because the AI tool kind of knows, and as much as it knows anything, all the various options that are available, and it'll like pick one that you may never have heard of, and it'll show you something. And if it doesn't look right, you can go through iterations. The only thing I would add is I find getting comprehensive answers out of an AI engine, and again, Perplexity is my engine of choice, is not a question answer. Like, it's an interrogation. I have a conversation with Perplexity AI that goes on for like 10 or 15 minutes, and it weaves and it turns, and then I sit back and I mine that conversation for information.
Excellent answer. As always, I'm by no means a developer, yet I found myself troubleshooting with the help of AI, MySQL queries, troubleshoot some Tableau, advanced Excel functions, which I was never patient to actually learn and apply them. So it expands beyond digital marketing. Now, moving along with our agenda, Amin said something interesting. Give it the data, and he'll know what to do with it. Now, this can raise some concerns. So the next question is, what are some concerns when it comes to AI? One of them is data, of course. What kind of data you feed them, and what do they use it? And I believe Elon Musk recently said, I'm not sure if it's fake or not, because deepfake is actually another concern of the AI, and as well as misinformation, saying that if Apple will give OpenAI access to their I forgot what, then they'll ban them in all of his organizations. The question is, what are some of the concerns that comes along with the AI, along with the opportunities? And we'll start again with Joachim.
You're giving me the easy job to always start first. A couple of different risks and concerns. One is simple privacy concerns. If the AI is being trained on data that your business has, that is data that is out there. Companies begin to put some boundaries around it. As an example, Gemini restricts the training to the non-business data, but that's not necessarily guaranteed by many of the others. So privacy and how much you want to open yourself or your business to AI knowing everything, that comes down to an element of trust, much like you're giving access to Google with Google Workspace, Google Drive, and all those things, and Microsoft does the same thing with their things. You need to trust or hope that this works out okay. So concern number one. Concern number two, and we've spoken about it a couple of times already, is from a pure using the AI versus feeding the AI. The thing just hallucinates and extremely eloquently states things that might not have to do anything with what's fact.
Yes, I can tell you for sure, spaghetti with glue tastes horrible. Some concerns, major concerns.
Sure. For me, actually, as a professional, I think we are, kind of trying to stay ahead of the curve, learn, understand what is the problem. My main area of concern is actually the general public people, because with these tools, misinformation can be everywhere. So, and people, it will give power to scammers as well. Just copy my voice, just from one of my videos on YouTube, copy my voice, call someone, ask for money. So these are concerns that, this is a great technology, but deep fake is also there. Misinformation is also there. Google is, they're calling themselves, we are collecting and organizing all the information in the world, but we were seeing how AI overviews were spreading misinformation. They tried to kind of shut it down, remove the results, make it less and less. Even Google cannot really tell us we're doing a great job and we are not doing that misinformation. So for me, that the big area of concern is for example, our parents. Somebody can quickly deceive them and then scam them or things like that. Is very simply can happen to them. So the biggest area of concern for me is misinformation, and then deep fakes and things that AI can bring, can bring real danger to lives of people as well.
Excellent answer. Well, since Kevin is in the US and there's some elections coming up, I read recently a couple of articles on the topic of some of the concerns that the impact of AI might have on the upcoming elections. So that being said, Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely right. I kind of divide the concerns into two big buckets, the micro concerns and the macro concerns. And I think both Joachim and Amin did a good job with what I call the micro concerns. People are accidentally revealing sensitive and private information, and people are masquerading as other people. There was a financial phishing scam, a UK company with a subsidiary in Singapore, a series of Zoom calls, or maybe it was a Google Meet about a special relationship with a local Asian distributor, and you're going to get these emails and just pay these invoices, everything's cool. And it turned out that in these Zoom calls, everybody except the guy being scammed was an avatar. That wasn't the CEO, that wasn't the CFO. And this company lost a few $1 million because he would get like an email a week, send them 50 grand, send them 55 grand, and he thought he had been given permission. This is probably going to happen more until we figure out how to deal with it. But on a macro perspective, I think the two big issues are what I'm going to call the fundamental business model and energy. OpenAI is losing $700,000 a day. It's a staggering amount of money. So the funding of OpenAI is based on future expectations. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Facebook had zero revenue for 7 years before they even made so much as a penny, right? Well, they probably made a penny, but you get the point, right? And yet they've got a viable advertising-based business model today. So I'm comfortable they'll figure it out. But if the big name investors putting in the big money into AI decide that, it really isn't living up to the hype, and how much have we spent, and should we just cut our losses? Like, the whole thing could collapse relatively quickly. And the other one is energy. I mean, the amount of energy used to run these AI data centers is just astronomical. So all these high-tech companies in Silicon Valley have these carbon emission targets they're going to meet to be good corporate citizens, but they can't meet them and do AI. So they're just giving them up, right? So their carbon emissions are growing, half as much again as it was last year in order to deploy their AI tools. Some company, and I forget who it was, but they actually put in a permit somewhere in Connecticut to co-locate a data center next to the nuclear power plant because they need the energy, right? So if we don't build up our energy infrastructure, the rate at which we can deploy it is going to be limited.
Nuclear energy, clean energy, good energy, cheap energy, but that's a topic probably for another conversation.
That's beyond the scope of this webinar, yeah.
Yes, but all of them extremely well highlighted concerns that all of us should be aware of. And again, micro, but also micro. So next time, we learn as business people, we learn today about Chat GPT. It's best to take some precaution when you feed him some data. At least try to mark and mask no sharing of sensitive information and whatnot. Now, Speaking of which, I do have 2 more questions on my agenda, and believe it or not, we already are 46 minutes in. It's been an amazing conversation. I do remind our participants that we have a chat option, so I do encourage you to put in your questions for all of our guests or anyone in particular. And with that being said, the next topic on the agenda is my favorite one. Does one stay sane and manage to filter what's important from all the noise that AI creates? One, in terms of tool, of course, because sometimes I'm having trouble figuring out, okay, what tool should I use? Should I actually go try that one? Joachim has talked about Gemini. Amin has talked about Claude, and Kevin about Perplexity. I don't have time to figure all of these out. How does one stay sane? But also, how does one filter the information that AI can provide? Because I don't use TikTok, to Amin's point, but I use Shorts, YouTube Shorts. And I see more than half of the shorts that are fed to me are AI generated, which of course created a lot of opportunities for many people to make money. The way I'm viewing it, a kid anywhere in the world can start a faceless YouTube channel with the help of AI in multiple languages and make an honest buck. But also the quality and the information might not be as relevant and as useful. So the question is, how does one stay sane? Joachim, again, since we started with you.
All right. I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer how one stays sane.
How do
but
you stay sane?
Let me make an attempt. The idea is not, and you can apply this for anything you can make decisions on where you have multiple choices. Buying a car, buying a computer, buying a phone, buying a whatever. If you're trying to find the best one, you're not staying sane. Make a decision, find one, get started. Get started, make an impact, and keep improving. But don't sit there and analyze for the next weeks and months. How do you actually get started, and what's the best tool? Because those tools change on an ongoing basis, and let them change. This is like watching the news. That would be depressive if you were watching all the news because they're predominantly negative. Focus on what matters for your business, make an impact, and make every day make a little bit more impact. And you can do this with Perplexity, Chat GPT, or Gemini. Pick one, get started.
Pick one, get started. To address what you said about changes, one of my biggest frustrations right now is that all my previous conversations in Chat GPT that have used plugins are now archived. So I kind of need to go through all the process and retrain. It's mostly copy and paste, but still I would have loved it to make it somehow more easy. I mean, how do you stay sane in terms of filtering out all the noise with the AI?
So what I do is actually, I try to follow relevant influencers, and especially on X or LinkedIn, and see what they're doing. Ethan Malik, I think he's really doing a great job. He does experiment with Chat GPT, Cloud, all of the tools. He's a university professor, preparing really great use cases, and he's just one of the people that I'm following. So following these people, they are spending already time experimenting with different tools, showing different use cases. And then when I see, so for example, I think before, in the last 3 weeks, I wasn't using Cloud before that. But when I saw the new use cases of Cloud 3.5 Sonnet, I said, okay, this is something that I would like to try. I tried the free version, and I said, yeah, this is something that will help me, help my work, and I want to use it. And then after that, I started using it more and more. So the first time I saw the use case was on Twitter or X. And so I think that's my way. I'm not experimenting with everything, but I follow people who are experimenting. And then when I see it's helpful for me, I will try to follow what they did, and start a new experiment, because tools are a lot of them are there. They're getting updated every day, and it's not our job, honestly, to check what's happening with each of them.
But you are tempted, right, to spend more time on researching and trying and testing it out and sign up for trials. And let's say in the first few months of AI, I probably spend around $300 a month with all the subscription and all the services I've signed up for. Leonardo, Midjourney, there were a few of them as well, and so on. So that's a reality. Kevin.
I do what both Joachim and Amin do. So I have specific things I want to do. In my case specifically, it's I do research before I write a blog post, and you need to generate images. So I find a tool for the one, and I find a tool for the other, and I use them. And then if somebody shows me a better tool, I replace my A tool with my B tool, if you will. I use a new tool, right? And I'm not really enamored of, like, I don't have to try everything. If it does something my tool already does, my tool already does it. And if the other tool, if I take a look at it and it seriously impresses me, I'll switch. If not, I won't. And the other is that, like Amin spoke to, I have a couple of people I consider to be very trusted sources. And if they say, you should check this out, like, do you guys subscribe to, I'm going to pronounce her last name wrong, even though it's a simple name, Maureen Haynes. Do you subscribe to her newsletter? Yeah. So she sent out an email today that said Gemini is in Google Drive. And like, she devoted the entire email subject line to this one thing. It's like, okay, I will check it out because it came from her, right? You get the point, right?
Search news
so I have
you can use.
People. What's that?
Search news you can use, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. So she's one of my trusted sources, and I'm sure she's a trusted source for a lot of people. And if she says it's worth checking out, I'll check it out. If some rando on the internet says check it out, I don't.
Fair enough. All good answers. We're approaching the ending of our session today. I can't believe it went by so fast, but I do enjoy it and I do learn a lot. I'm taking all the time notes. By the way, go to howaboutsmarketing.com to check out the previous episodes where you'll see the recording of this one as well, show notes, highlights, and links to our guests to connect with them as well. I'm going to take a look one more time to see. I don't see any questions or in the Q&A or in the chat. Feel free to have to put them in if you have any for our guests. And that being said, I'm going to ask the last question, which is actually a personal favor from each of our guests to share a pro tip, something that you have found. It's not like we haven't shared pro tips so far up until now, but what is a single thing that you have come up with by yourself and you think it's worth sharing with everyone to improve the work, to improve the workflow, and so on? We'll start with Joachim.
Not necessarily an AI, but AI is half of the topic for today. It's SEO, and a super big thing in SEO, we all know that, is link building. And an important part, many forget, is internal link building. And here, a big shout out for the Ahrefs free version. I think it's called Webmaster or Web Analytics, something like that. And in that, use, and it's totally free, go use the internal link building opportunities. It basically finds content and tells you, in this content, put a link in there, put it in this word, and link to the other term somewhere else that you have on your website. Super big help in terms of building topic clusters, and all those things, as we all know, make a big difference. Go use it.
That's a tip you shared before, and I started using it right away. Thank you so much. Amin, a pro tip.
Okay, I would like to actually wear two hats. The first hat I'm wearing is as a normal user. I'm not an SEO. What I do is that I use Chat GPT or Claude or any LM to learn, improve my learning. If I don't know about a concept, I will ask about examples, simple examples. Explain it to a kid, bring an example for me, for example, to make me better understand. I started reading a complicated book, and I'm, asking lots of questions about the book. Shared a screenshot of a PDF with Chat GPT and ask questions, explain it to me in more simple terms. Sometimes I use it for brainstorming. I have some ideas about a strategy or even simple thing about my life. I ask them, what else? Brainstorm with you. Wear different hats and tell me how I can use it, how I can actually improve my thought process. And the other thing is actually the SEO hat that I want to wear, and I will share a link here. Just in 2 minutes, I could create this dashboard with Cloud. And what happened is that I just imported 3 or 4 CSV files and asked it, give me a SEO dashboard. It's really valuable. It's really helpful. And I think as professionals, we have wings now. We can fly with this. So visualize data in a better way, present it to clients. And as you can see, it can be a standalone link that you're sharing with people. So definitely use this. I'm not sure if the link is shared. I will send it again. I'm not seeing it, but hope you are seeing it in the chat.
We don't, but I'll take this opportunity to remind everyone that Amin will be our next guest on August 29, last Thursday of each month, on another How About Some Marketing webinar, where he'll showcase maybe in the meantime, he'll create a few more tools that Amin created and probably will walk us through this dashboard tool as well. So this link for the upcoming webinar is actually in the chat, so please go and sign in right away and go to howaboutsommarketing.com to see all the previous sessions, subscribe to the newsletter, and make sure you're following us on all the social media channels, mostly on YouTube, because only good things are preparing. That being said, Kevin, a pro tip for our participants and for those who are watching.
My pro tip is something I mentioned earlier in this webinar, and that's that AI engines are fundamentally different from search engines in as much as you can do multiple queries and context gets saved. So you can actually have a conversation with a repository of data, which is an interesting concept. My use of it, again, is doing research for blog posts, but I never really know where I'm going because I don't necessarily know what I don't know. And I can learn things I don't know by having these conversations with Perplxity AI.
We don't know what Perplxity knows. That being said, my pro tip, Amin already mentioned, but things have changed when I started asking the tool of choice, Chat GPT, to say, explain it to me like I'm 5, explain it to me like I'm 10. And another pro tip that I would share is, if your English is not your first language, try having a conversation in your language and you'll be amazed, because sometimes I'm not sure if everyone, but Amin and Joachim, maybe you can confirm that sometimes you need to frame, especially some important conversations, you need to frame them in your own language depending on the conversation that's happening, right? So for me, it helps when I have the communication in my own language, and there's many people watching us that can benefit from this. These are my unsolicited two cents on that. That being said, 25 seconds each for closing remarks. Joachim.
As I said, the only way you make a difference is by getting started. Don't worry about picking the right tool. Some of the best athletes take a Tiger Woods, plays better golf with a broomstick than many of us would be with the best equipment. Get started, make an impact.
Excellent. Get started. Amin.
I want to use this 25 seconds to answer a question that Kaya asked, because I want to respect her question. So the biggest challenge that I faced when I was integrating AI into SEO strategies was, one of them was hallucination. Another one is definitely the problem that we cannot share client data with them. So redacting the data, for example, if I'm working on a client like How About Some Marketing, I will not say this is the client. I will say it's client A, for example, or client B. And I will try to redact the important data in those terms. And then hallucination is something that I will try to feed it, with the good examples and bad examples of the output that I want to get, and then I will iterate through the prompts in order to get that perfect output that I want to get from LLMs.
Excellent. I haven't seen the question, so thank you so much for observing that. And we'll have a chance to see admin speak next month. You know already the date, August 29, and you already know where to subscribe and where to register. Howaboutsmarketing.com. Kevin, 25 seconds closing remarks.
Can I just shamelessly plug my platform?
Please do.
You just did.
So if you're a writer and you need to boost your topical authority and boost your personal brand, you should check out our platform. It's organicgrowth.biz. Our landing page tells a pretty good story about what we're doing and what we're trying to do and who we're trying to do it for. But in short, because it's a network effect platform, it has value when there is an active community. It's brand new. We don't yet have that active community. So I'm giving it away for free now in order to get people to create this active community that will charge other people to join later. Now, I don't just accept everybody. You have to apply, you submit, promote content. I personally look at it, approve it piece by piece. If your stuff is good, you get in. If it's not, you don't. And then you gain visibility by using other people's quality content for attribution link sources. And then as you gain visibility, your quality content becomes attribution link sources for others.
Kevin, one might call this actually SEO.
Yeah. It's link building, but I distance myself from the phrase link building because so much link building is just sleazy, bad stuff. Don't do the sleazy, bad stuff.
Only good stuff. Only good stuff. Thank you again, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank our guests for agreeing to participate in this. I took a lot of notes. I hope you did too. You can go to How About Marketing to watch previous recordings, including this one. That being said, thank you, the one who have registered and also the one who is watching at the moment. For whatever reason, you might not have been able to attend the live session, but you're watching the recording. If you have any questions, comments, go to howaboutsmarketing.com and stay tuned for future events.